Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here tonight. It's time to step away from the noise of the world and into somewhere quieter, somewhere gentler. Tonight, I'm taking you into the heart of the Forbidden Forest, under a full autumn moon, where wild magic still roams freely, and hippogriffs gather in ancient clearings known only to those brave enough to seek them. You'll feel the cold wind against your face, the fear of shadows moving in darkness, and the overwhelming wonder of flight above Hogwarts Castle. This is a story about courage, connection, and that rare, transcendent moment when you touch something truly wild and beautiful. So settle in somewhere comfortable. Let your breathing slow and allow yourself to drift into this story. Let's begin. The library smells like old parchment and candle wax, a scent so familiar it's become almost comforting, almost like home. You've claimed your usual corner, the one tucked behind the tall shelf of creature encyclopedias, where nobody ever bothers to look, where the afternoon light slants through the window in dusty golden bars. Books surround you in careful stacks, their spines cracked and worn from your repeated reading. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them sits open to your left, though you've practically memorized every page. The Care and Keeping of Magical Creatures rests beneath your elbow, and in your hands, fragile and ancient, is a volume you discovered wedged between two newer texts, almost hidden, almost forgotten. Observations of Wild Magical Creatures by Araminta Clearwater, published in 1856. The leather cover feels soft with age under your fingers, and the pages crackle faintly as you turn them with the gentleness they deserve. You've been reading for the past hour, absorbing Clearwater's first-hand accounts of creatures in their natural habitats, untamed and magnificent. Her words paint pictures so vivid you can almost see the forests she walked through, the creatures she observed from careful distances. And then your eyes catch on a passage that makes your heart stumble. The wild hippogriffs of Scotland, Clearwater writes in her elegant slanting script, gather during the autumn full moon in forest clearings, performing what appears to be a ritual flight. I witnessed this phenomenon once in the forest near the northern school, and the sight remains the most magnificent of my career. The moonlight turned their feathers to silver and gold, and their calls echoed through the trees like ancient songs. They moved with a grace and power that the domesticated creatures, however well treated, can never quite reclaim. Your breath catches. The northern school. That has to mean Hogwarts. There's no other magical school in Scotland, no other forest that would have hosted wild hippogriff populations. Your fingers tighten on the page, careful not to damage it, but unable to let go. Wild hippogriffs. Here, in the Forbidden Forest. You glance toward the window, checking the sky with sudden urgency. The sun hangs low, painting everything amber and rose, which means it's late afternoon, which means tonight is... Your mind races through the dates, counting backward. Today is the 23rd of October, and the moon tonight is full. You'd noticed it rising last night, almost complete, the edge still slightly flattened. But tonight it will be perfectly round, perfectly full, exactly as Clearwater described. Your heart begins to pound, a steady thrumming that fills your ears and makes your hand shake slightly. This could be real. This could actually be happening, tonight, just beyond the castle grounds in the forest you've stared at countless times from classroom windows. Wild hippogriffs gathering in moonlight, untouched by human training or expectation. the pure, magnificent creatures you've dreamed about since you were small. Since the first time your parents took you to watch the hippogriffs at the reserve where they worked, since you'd stood at the fence and watched them soar overhead with tears streaming down your face because nothing had ever been so beautiful. You should dismiss the idea immediately. The Forbidden Forest at night is exactly as dangerous as its name suggests. Students have been killed there. Acromantulas hunt in the darkness. Centaurs patrol their territory and don't take kindly to human intrusion. There are creatures in those woods that even the professors won't name, things that make the older students go quiet when mentioned. Going in there alone would be incredibly stupid, recklessly dangerous, possibly fatal. But your mind won't let go of the image. Hippogriffs in moonlight, wild and free, moving through their ancient gathering with no humans to watch or judge or train them. When would you ever get another chance like this? The full moon only comes once a month, and autumn only lasts so long. By the time the next full moon rises, the weather will have turned bitter, snow will be falling, and the hippogriffs, if they're even still there, certainly won't be gathering in forest clearings. This is your chance, possibly your only chance. You close the book carefully, reverently, and tuck it into your bag. Madame Rush, the librarian, watches you from her desk with her usual suspicious expression, the one she reserves for students she's certain are up to something but can't quite prove it. You offer her a small, polite smile and make your way toward the exit, trying to walk normally despite the wild racing of your thoughts. The castle corridors stretch before you, familiar stone and torchlight, students heading toward the great hall for dinner. You join the flow of traffic, your mind already miles away, already planning. You'll need supplies, your wand, obviously, a dark cloak, something to help you blend into shadows, food for the hippogriffs if you can manage it, though you're not sure what you could offer that would tempt a wild creature, and warm clothes, because October nights in Scotland are bitter cold, and you'll be outside for hours. The great hall glows with evening light and floating candles when you slip inside. The enchanted ceiling shows the real sky above, that soft purple blue of approaching dusk, and you can already see the moon beginning to rise at the edge, pale and nearly full. Your stomach clenches with anticipation. Just a few more hours. You make your way to the Hufflepuff table and find a spot near the end, away from the main clusters of conversation. Food appears on the golden plates, the usual warm and abundant spread, but you barely taste what you're eating. Your mind keeps drifting to the forest, to moonlight and silver feathers, to the possibility waiting in the darkness. Hey, you all right? You blink and look up. Rowan Blackwood stands across from you, his blue and bronze Ravenclaw tie slightly crooked, his expression friendly but curious. You know Rowan from Care of Magical Creatures class, where he sits 2 rows behind you and occasionally asks to borrow your notes. He's nice enough, always quick with a smile, but your conversations never go much deeper than homework and weather. You look miles away, he continues, sliding onto the bench across from you without waiting for an invitation. I asked if you'd finished Kettleburn's essay, but I don't think you heard me. Sorry, you manage, pulling yourself back to the present. Just thinking about the homework, actually. The one on hippogriff temperament. Right, that one's due Monday. Rowan grabs a roll and tears into it. Want to work on it together later? I'm meeting some people in the library after dinner. For a moment, you consider it. Consider telling Rowan about Clearwater's book, about the gathering tonight. about your plan to venture into the forest. He likes creatures well enough. Probably wouldn't think you were completely mad for wanting to see wild hippogriffs. You could ask him to come with you. Having someone else there would be safer, smarter, less terrifyingly solitary. But even as you open your mouth, you know you won't ask. Rowan likes creatures the way most people like creatures, as interesting subjects to study and observe from safe distances. He doesn't understand the way your breath catches when you see them, the way your chest aches with something too big to name. He'd probably try to talk you out of going, or worse, he'd agree to come but spend the whole time being nervous and wanting to turn back, and you'd feel responsible for putting him in danger. This is something you need to do alone. Maybe tomorrow, you say, forcing a casual tone. I'm pretty tired tonight. Think I'll just turn in early. Rowan shrugs, unconcerned. Sure, no problem. See you in class Monday then. He wanders back toward his friends, and you watch him go with a mixture of relief and loneliness. It would be nice to share this with someone, to have a companion for what you're about to do. But you're used to being alone. It's easier with creatures anyway. They don't expect you to make small talk or pretend to be interested in things that bore you. They're honest in a way people rarely are. You finish eating quickly and slip out of the Great Hall before most students have even started on dessert. The castle corridors are quieter now, most people still at dinner or heading back to common rooms for the evening. You make your way to the Hufflepuff common room entrance, tap the correct barrel in the rhythm that opens the door, and step into the warm, honey-colored space beyond. The common room is mostly empty, just a few students scattered in armchairs near the fire. You nod to them vaguely and head straight for the stairs leading down to the dormitories. Your room is on the second level, a circular space with 5 beds draped in yellow curtains. 2 of your dorm mates are there already, Ivy and Petra, both talking animatedly about some drama involving a 7th year and a love potion gone wrong. They barely glance up when you enter. Perfect. You move to your trunk at the foot of your bed and begin pulling out what you need. A thick, black traveling cloak, the one you brought from home that's meant for cold nights outdoors. Your warmest jumper, dark gray wool that your mother knitted with warming charms sewn into the stitches. Sturdy boots, gloves. You pile everything on your bed, trying to look casual, like you're just organizing your things. The wand is already in your pocket, always within reach. But you need something else, something that's been nagging at the back of your mind since you read Clearwater's passage. Food, an offering. Hippogriffs are proud creatures, unlikely to trust a strange human without reason, but they respond to respect and gifts. You need something substantial, something that would appeal to their carnivorous nature. And then you remember. Professor Kettleburn keeps dead ferrets in a storage cupboard off the main Care of Magical Creatures classroom, frozen with preservation charms, meant for feeding the larger creatures during lessons. You've seen him pull them out dozens of times, watched him thaw them with a casual flick of his wand before tossing them to griffins or hippogriffs or whatever creature was being studied that day. The classroom will be empty this time of evening. Kettleburn is usually in his office or at dinner, and you know the storage cupboard isn't locked because Kettleburn himself has said multiple times that locks are nonsense, just get in the way when there's an emergency. You'll have to go get some. The decision settles over you with calm certainty. You pull your copy of Handbook of Hippogriff Behavior from the shelf above your bed. A slim volume you've read so many times, the spine is cracked in 3 places, and tap it with your wand. Reducio. The book shrinks to the size of your thumb, and you tuck it into your pocket next to your wand. Knowledge is as important as any other supply. Going somewhere? You turn. Ivy is looking at you now, eyebrows raised, taking in the pile of warm outdoor clothes on your bed. Her tone is curious, but not particularly interested, the way someone asks a question because they feel they should, rather than because they actually care about the answer. "Just organizing," you say smoothly. "Thought I'd get my winter things sorted before it gets too cold." Ivy accepts this with a shrug and goes back to her conversation with Petra. You wait another few minutes, then grab your bag, mutter something about the library, and slip back out into the common room. The castle has grown darker while you were in your dormitory. Torches flicker in their brackets along the walls, casting dancing shadows. You make your way through the familiar corridors, up 2 flights of stairs, across the Transfiguration corridor, and finally to the Care of Magical Creatures classroom. The door is closed, but not locked. You push it open quietly and step inside. The room smells like straw and animal musk, a scent you've always found comforting. Cages line the walls, most of them empty at this hour. Professor Kettleburn's desk sits at the far end, cluttered with papers and what appears to be a dragon scale being used as a paperweight. And there, along the left wall, is the storage cupboard. Your heart pounds as you cross to it, glancing over your shoulder even though you know you're alone. The cupboard opens easily, revealing shelves stacked with supplies. Leather gloves, thick and claw-proof. Jars of various creature treats. Bottles of antidotes. And on the bottom shelf, a basket of frozen ferrets, each one stiff and silver with frost. You grab 3 of them, enough to offer without taking so many that Kettleburn will notice they're missing, and wrap them in a piece of cloth you find on a nearby shelf. The bundle goes into your bag, cold even through the fabric. You close the cupboard carefully, check that everything looks undisturbed, and slip back out of the classroom. Now there's nothing left to do but wait. You return to your dormitory, change into the warm clothes you'd set out, and pull the black cloak over everything. Your dorm mates are still chattering, now joined by a 3rd girl, Marin, who's doing someone's charms homework in exchange for help with potions next week. None of them pay attention to you settling onto your bed with a book, pretending to read while your eyes keep drifting to the window. The sky deepens from purple to navy to black. Stars emerge, bright and cold. And then, finally, the moon rises, full and huge and absolutely perfect, turning the grounds beyond the window silver. It's time. You wait until your dorm mates begin getting ready for bed, brushing teeth and changing into pajamas and settling under covers with the easy comfort of people who have no plans beyond sleeping. The lamps dim one by one. Conversation fades to murmurs, then to silence. You lie still, listening to breathing slow and deepen around you, counting the minutes until you're certain everyone is asleep. Then, moving as quietly as possible, you slip out of bed. You're already dressed in your outdoor clothes beneath your dressing gown, so you simply shed the gown, pull on your boots, and grab your bag. The black cloak goes over your shoulders, the hood pulled up. You look like a shadow, barely visible even in the faint moonlight coming through the windows. The common room is empty when you emerge from the dormitory. The fire has burned down to embers, casting a faint orange glow. You cross to the exit, the barrels that serve as the door, and tap yourself out into the corridor beyond. The castle at night feels different than during the day. The same stones, the same tapestries and suits of armor, but transformed by darkness and silence into something ancient and strange. Your footsteps sound too loud despite your careful quiet. Every shadow seems to move. You pass a window and see the ground spread below, the forbidden forest a dark mass at the edge, and your stomach clenches with fear and anticipation, mixed so thoroughly you can't tell which is stronger. You take the main staircase down, freezing once when a stair creaks beneath your foot, the sound echoing through the empty space. But nobody comes. No professors on patrol, no prefects doing rounds, not even Peeves drifting through to cause mischief. The castle seems to be holding its breath, waiting. The entrance hall stretches vast and empty. The house point hourglasses gleam faintly in their alcoves, jewels catching moonlight from the high windows. The massive front doors loom ahead, oak and iron, usually sealed at night. But you checked earlier, and you know that the smaller side door, the one the professors sometimes use for early morning walks, isn't locked, just latched. You press down on the handle, and the door swings open with only the softest creak. Cold air rushes in, stealing your breath. October in Scotland is no joke, especially at night, and you're suddenly grateful for every layer you're wearing. You step outside and pull the door closed behind you, leaving it slightly ajar so you can get back in later. The ground spread before you, transformed by moonlight into something from a dream. The grass glitters with frost. The lake reflects the moon in perfect stillness. And ahead, dark and enormous, the forbidden forest rises like a wall. You start walking, your boots crunching softly on the frozen grass. The castle looms behind you, windows glowing warmly, and you resist the urge to look back. If you look back, you might lose your nerve. If you think too hard about what you're doing, about the rules you're breaking, and the danger you're walking into, you might turn around. So you keep your eyes forward, on the forest, and you walk. The edge of the forbidden forest looks like something from a children's story, the kind meant to teach lessons about disobedience and danger. The trees stand close together, branches tangled overhead, blocking out the moonlight and creating a wall of shadow. You can hear sounds from within, even standing outside. Hoots and rustles and things you can't identify. Sounds that might be wind or might be creatures moving through the undergrowth. You stand at the tree line, looking into that darkness, and feel fear settle over you like a cold blanket. This is it, the last moment to turn back, the last chance to change your mind and return to the castle, to warmth and safety and the ordinary life you know. But somewhere in that forest, if Clearwater was right, wild hippogriffs are gathering under the full moon. You take a deep breath, pulling the cold air into your lungs until they ache. For the hippogriffs, you whisper to yourself, and step forward into the trees. The darkness swallows you immediately. The moonlight vanishes, cut off by the dense canopy overhead, and suddenly you can barely see your own hands in front of your face. You pull out your wand, gripping it tightly, and murmur, Lumos. The light that blooms at your wand tip is weak and pale, pushing back the darkness by only a few feet, but it's enough. You can see the path ahead, or at least what looks like it might be a path. A deer trail maybe, or something worn by larger creatures moving through the forest. You follow it deeper in, your wand held high, trying to ignore the way your heart pounds against your ribs. The sounds intensify now that you're inside. Leaves rustle overhead, though there's no wind. Something howls in the distance, a long wavering note that raises the hair on the back of your neck. Branches crack and snap, close enough that you freeze, turning in a slow circle to see what's making the noise. But your wand light shows only trees and shadows, nothing moving that you can identify. Keep going. Don't stop. Stopping is worse than moving. You push forward, following the trail as it winds between massive oaks and thick brambles. Your cloak catches on thorns, and you have to stop to carefully unhook the fabric, your hand shaking slightly. How far in do you need to go? Clearwater mentioned old oaks in a circle, but you have no idea where that might be. The forest stretches for miles in every direction. Something scuttles overhead, the sound of many legs moving across bark. You point your wand upward and immediately wish you hadn't. Webs, massive webs stretching between the trees, thick as ropes, covered in dew that gleams in your wand light like strings of diamonds. And in the center of one web, watching you with multiple gleaming eyes, is a spider the size of a dinner plate. Your breath stops. You lower your wand slowly, carefully, backing away without taking your eyes off the creature. Acromantulas, you're in their territory. One spider means there are others, possibly dozens or hundreds of others, all hidden in the darkness around you. The spider on the web shifts, and you hear clicking, not from the spider you can see, but from others in the darkness, answering the first spider's signal. They're communicating. They know you're here. You back away faster, still trying to be quiet, but panic rising in your chest. More eyes appear in the darkness, reflecting your wand light, green and clustered, moving closer. The clicking intensifies, a sound that seems to come from everywhere at once, and then you see it. An acromantula, much larger than the first, emerges from behind a tree trunk just a few feet away. It's the size of a large dog, black and hairy, mandibles working as it approaches you with slow, deliberate movements. The clicking sound is coming from its mouth. Your wand comes up without conscious thought. Arania exumai, the spell erupts from your wand in a blast of white light, hitting the spider square in its clustered eyes. The creature shrieks and scrambles backward, stunned. But the spell has given away your position to every spider in the area. The clicking becomes a chorus, angry and hungry, and you can hear them coming through the undergrowth from multiple directions. You run. Branches whip your face and arms. Roots try to trip you. Your wand light bounces wildly, showing flashes of trees and webs and eyes and darkness. You can hear the spiders behind you, their legs scratching against bark and earth, but you don't look back. Looking back means slowing down, and slowing down means getting caught. You burst through a thick tangle of brambles, thorns tearing at your cloak, and suddenly the forest changes. The trees are further apart here, older and thicker. The undergrowth thins, and most importantly, the clicking sounds fade, falling away behind you as if the spiders won't follow into this area. You slow, gasping for breath, your lungs burning. Your hands are shaking so hard you nearly drop your wand. That was too close, too terrifyingly close. You could have died right there, killed by acromantulas within minutes of entering the forest, and nobody would have known what happened to you. And then you hear something else. Hoofbeats, multiple sets moving through the trees somewhere to your left, heavy and rhythmic, the sound of large creatures moving with purpose. Centaurs. You press yourself against the nearest tree trunk, extinguishing your wand light with a whispered, "Nox." The darkness closes in immediately, absolute and disorienting. But you can still hear the hoofbeats coming closer. Voices reach you, speaking in a language you don't understand. The words are deep and melodious, nothing like human speech, The centaurs are talking to each other, and they sound calm, unhurried. You hold your breath, making yourself as small as possible against the tree. The hoofbeats pass close enough that you could probably reach out and touch one of them, if you were foolish enough to try. You catch glimpses of movement through the darkness, shapes passing between trees, starlight gleaming on flanks, and then one voice speaks clearly, in English this time, close enough to make you flinch. Human, foolish human child. They know you're here. Of course they know. Centaurs can probably see in the dark, can certainly smell you or sense you in ways you don't understand. Another voice answers, also in English, also close by. Let the forest teach them. The hoofbeats continue, passing by without stopping, and you realize with a mixture of relief and unease that they're not going to bother with you. They're aware of your presence, have judged you as beneath their concern, and are leaving you to whatever fate you've chosen for yourself. The sounds fade into the distance. You wait several more minutes, pressed against the tree, before you risk relighting your wand. The forest around you looks the same as before, dark and tangled and threatening. But you're alive, still alive, despite the spiders and the centaurs, despite every stupid decision that led you into this place. And you still haven't found the clearing. You check your surroundings more carefully now, trying to get your bearings. The problem is that you have no idea which direction you've been traveling. You ran from the spiders without paying attention to where you were going, and now you're completely, hopelessly lost in the middle of the forbidden forest at night. The smart thing would be to try to find your way back to the castle. Cut your losses, accept that this was a terrible idea, and count yourself lucky that you survived this long. But as you stand there in the darkness, wand light trembling in your shaking hand, you think about hippogriffs in moonlight, wild and free, gathering in some clearing you might never find again. The chance of a lifetime, slipping away while you stand here afraid. You've come this far. You've survived spiders and centaurs and your own terror. Turning back now feels wrong, like giving up on something precious before you've even really tried. Clearwater mentioned old oaks in a circle. You start walking again, more carefully this time, looking for anything that might indicate you're heading in the right direction. The trees here are certainly old, their trunks thick and gnarled, bark rough under your fingers when you steady yourself against them. But they don't form any kind of pattern that you can see. Time becomes strange in the forest. You have no idea how long you've been walking. It could be 30 minutes or 3 hours. The darkness is absolute, unchanging, giving you no reference points. Your feet ache in your boots. Your face stings where branches scratched it. The cold has seeped through even your warming charms, making your fingers numb around your wand. You're about to admit defeat, about to turn around and try desperately to find your way back, when you notice something. Light. Not your wand light, but actual moonlight filtering through the trees ahead. The canopy must thin there, allowing the light through. Hope surges through you, giving you energy you didn't know you still had. You move toward the light, pushing through a final tangle of low branches, and emerge into open space. A clearing. You stop, breath catching, taking it in. The space is almost perfectly circular, ringed by ancient oaks that lean inward slightly, their branches intertwining overhead, but leaving a gap in the center where moonlight pours through. The ground is covered in silvery grass, frost-touched and gleaming. And in that moonlight, bathed in silver radiance, stand 3 hippogriffs. 2 of them are smaller, their feathers brown and gray, their bodies powerful but compact. They stand at the edge of the clearing, heads raised toward the moon, utterly still. But the 3rd hippogriff, the one in the center, is magnificent. Larger than any hippogriff you've ever seen, larger even than the ones at your parents' reserve, with silver-gray feathers that seem to glow in the moonlight. His body is that of a massive horse, slate-gray and muscular, and his eagle head is proud and fierce, the beak scarred in a way that suggests age and experience. They haven't noticed you yet. You're still in the shadows at the clearing's edge, hidden by the last line of trees. And for a moment, you just stand there, watching, barely breathing. This is what you came for. This is what you risked everything to see. The hippogriffs aren't doing anything dramatic or magical. They're simply standing in the moonlight, as Clearwater described, engaged in some gathering or ritual you don't understand. But there's something in their stillness, something in the way they hold themselves, that speaks of power and wildness and freedom. These creatures have never known a stable or saddle. They've never been trained or bred or handled by humans. They're as wild as the forest itself, and absolutely beautiful. Your chest aches with emotion too large to name, wonder and awe, and something close to reverence. You want to stay hidden, to just watch from the shadows without disturbing them. But you also want to step forward, to be part of this moment rather than just an observer. To touch that wildness, even for a second. You take a breath and step into the clearing, deliberately scuffing your boots against the ground to make noise. All 3 hippogriffs turn immediately, alert and wary. The 2 smaller ones back away, moving toward the opposite edge of the clearing, ready to flee. But the silver one stands his ground, turning to face you fully, his amber eyes fixed on your face. Your heart pounds so hard you can feel it in your throat. Everything you've learned about hippogriffs surfaces in your mind. They demand respect. They test intentions. Approaching one without proper deference is an insult that can turn violent. You stop about 10 feet away, close enough to be acknowledged, but far enough to give him space. And then you bow. It's not a casual nod, but a deep, reverent bow from the waist, your eyes never leaving the hippogriff's face. You hold the position, your back straining, your legs beginning to shake from the awkward stance. Seconds stretch. The hippogriff watches you, utterly still, his expression unreadable. Please, you think, not daring to say it aloud. Please see that I mean no harm. Please trust me enough for this. Just when your legs are about to give out, when you think you might have to straighten up whether he's accepted you or not, the hippogriff moves. He bows his head, just slightly, just enough. Permission. You straighten slowly, your breath shaking. The hippogriff remains still, watching as you take a careful step forward. Then another. You move like you're approaching something precious and fragile, though in truth, this creature could kill you with a single strike of his talons or beak. But he's allowing this. He's chosen to trust you, at least provisionally. When you're close enough to touch, you extend your hand, moving slowly, giving him time to pull away if he wants. Your fingers brush his neck, just above where feathers meet fur, and the contact sends something electric through you. His feathers are softer than you imagined, warm despite the cold night. You can feel the muscle beneath, the barely contained power of a creature built for flight and freedom. You're magnificent, you whisper, the words barely audible. You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. The hippogriff makes a sound low in his throat, something between a trill and a rumble. Not aggressive, but alert, assessing. You keep your hand gentle on his neck, stroking slowly, letting him feel your respect and admiration. The other two hippogriffs have relaxed slightly, no longer poised to flee. They return to their moon watching, though they keep glancing toward you and their silver companion. You wonder about their relationship. Family? A small herd? Do wild hippogriffs gather in groups? Or is this gathering something specific to the full moon? You remember the ferrets in your bag, an offering, a sign of goodwill. You move slowly, reaching into your bag without breaking contact with the hippogriff, and pull out one of the wrapped packages. The cloth falls away, revealing the frozen ferret inside, and you hold it out on your palm. The hippogriff's eyes fix on the offering. He lowers his head, sniffing carefully, and then takes the ferret with surprising delicacy, his beak precise despite its size. He swallows it in a few bites, and you can see his posture relax further. Food from a stranger's hand is trust on both sides. You offered something valuable, and he accepted without fear of poison or trap. You stroke his neck again, your mind racing with possibilities. You're here. You're actually here, in a moonlit clearing, touching a wild hippogriff. You've achieved what you came for. You should be satisfied with this, should count yourself lucky, and start the long, dangerous journey back to the castle. But there's something else in your mind. Something you've been thinking about since the moment you saw him. A question you barely dare ask. "Would you let me?" you whisper, your voice trembling. "Would you let me fly with you? Just once?" It's presumptuous, you know. Hippogriffs can be ridden, but only if they permit it, and that permission is rare and precious. It's the greatest honor they can bestow, a mark of respect and trust that most people never earn, even after years of working with the creatures. Asking a wild hippogriff, one you've known for mere minutes, is audacious to the point of foolishness. But the hippogriff turns his head, fixing you with those intelligent amber eyes, and you see something in them that might be understanding, or curiosity, or perhaps amusement at this strange human who walked through the forbidden forest at night just to see him. He lowers his front quarters, folding his legs and bringing his back within reach. An invitation. Your breath stops completely. You stare at him, unable to believe what you're seeing. "Really?" The word comes out choked. "You'll really let me?" The hippogriff remains in position, waiting. Your hands shake as you step closer, positioning yourself alongside his massive body. You've ridden the hippogriffs at your parents' reserve, know the basics of how to mount and sit. But this feels completely different. This isn't a trained creature used to carrying riders. This is a wild hippogriff who's chosen, for reasons you don't fully understand, to trust you with this gift. You pull yourself up onto his back, gripping with your legs, tangling your fingers carefully in the feathers at the base of his neck. He's warm beneath you, and you can feel the power of his body, the muscles coiled and ready. He stands, and suddenly you're much higher off the ground than you expected, perched on the back of a creature that could throw you off in an instant if he chose. But he doesn't throw you. He walks toward the edge of the clearing, his gait smooth despite his size, and you hold on, your heart racing with anticipation and disbelief. He reaches the edge where trees give way to a slight rise in the ground, and then, without warning or preamble, he leaps. His wings unfold, massive and glorious, spreading wide on either side of you. The first powerful downbeat lifts you off the ground, and your stomach drops as the clearing falls away below. Branches whip past, close enough to touch, and then you're through the canopy, bursting into open sky. Moonlight floods over you, so bright after the darkness of the forest that you have to squint. The wind hits your face, cold and wild, stealing your breath. And beneath you, the hippogriff's wings beat steadily, carrying you higher with each stroke. You're flying. The realization hits you with such force that you laugh out loud, the sound torn away by the wind. You're actually flying on the back of a wild hippogriff, above the forbidden forest under a full moon. Everything you've ever dreamed about, every moment you've spent staring at the sky, wishing you could be up there, has led to this. The hippogriff climbs higher, spiraling upward on powerful wing beats. The forest spreads below you like a dark ocean, treetops silvered by moonlight. In the distance, you can see Hogwarts Castle, its windows glowing like stars, the lake beyond it gleaming black and silver. The hippogriff turns toward the castle, and you grip tighter, leaning into the movement. He's flying you toward Hogwarts, giving you a view that precious few people have ever seen. The grounds unfold below, the Quidditch pitch with its tall hoops, the greenhouses glittering in their rows, Hagrid's hut tucked at the forest's edge with smoke curling from its chimney. You climb higher still until the castle looks small beneath you, until you can see the mountains in the distance, their peaks dusted with early snow. The black lake spreads to your left, perfectly still, reflecting the moon in its center like a silver coin. Scotland unfolds in every direction, wild and beautiful and endless. The cold wind brings tears to your eyes, or maybe you're crying from the sheer overwhelming beauty of it all. The hippogriff calls out, a wild sound that echoes across the night, and you find yourself calling too, a wordless shout of joy and freedom and gratitude. This is what the hippogriff feels always. This wind, this sky, this boundless space. No walls or rules or expectations, just the moonlight and the air and the world spread below like a gift. You understand now why some creatures can never truly be tamed, why these wild hippogriffs gather in forest clearings rather than accepting the comfort and safety of human care. Because this freedom, this wild joy, is worth more than comfort, worth more than safety. The hippogriff begins to descend, angling back toward the castle. You expect him to land near the forest edge, perhaps in the clearing where you found him. But he doesn't turn toward the forest. He flies straight for the castle itself, climbing toward the towers. "Where are you taking me?" you whisper, but somehow you already know. He approaches Hufflepuff Tower specifically, gliding on spread wings, and your window becomes visible. The round window of your dormitory, the one you forgot to close properly before you left. The hippogriff knew. Somehow, impossibly, he knew where you belonged. He hovers beside the window, his wings beating steadily to hold position. You understand that this is goodbye, that this perfect moment is ending. Part of you wants to hold on, to refuse to let go, to beg him to carry you away somewhere you can stay in the sky forever. But you know better. This was a gift, freely given, and you can't dishonor it by asking for more than was offered. You slide off his back onto the windowsill, the stone cold and rough under your hands. The window is narrow, but you manage to wedge yourself into it, half in and half out. You turn back to the hippogriff, placing one hand on his neck one final time. "Thank you," you whisper, your voice breaking. "Thank you for trusting me, Thank you for showing me this." The hippogriff bows his head, a gesture of acknowledgement and respect. And then, with one powerful beat of his wings, he wheels away from the tower. You watch him go. Watch him become smaller and smaller against the moonlit sky, heading back toward the forest. The silver of his feathers catches the light even at a distance, and you keep watching until he disappears completely into the darkness of the trees. Only then do you climb fully through the window into your dormitory. The room is exactly as you left it, your dormmates sleeping peacefully in their beds, undisturbed by your absence. The clock on the wall shows that it's just past 2 in the morning. You've been gone for hours, lived through more in this one night than in entire weeks of ordinary life. And nobody here knows or cares. Your hands are still shaking, you realize, as you strip off your muddy, torn cloak and hide it at the bottom of your trunk. Your face stings where branches scratched it, and your fingers are numb from cold despite the warming charms. You catch sight of yourself in the small mirror by your bed and barely recognize the person looking back. Your hair is wild, tangled by wind and branches. Your face is scratched and dirty, but your eyes are bright, more alive than you've ever seen them. You don't look like someone who just broke a dozen school rules and nearly died multiple times. You look like someone who touched something wild and magical and real. You change into your pajamas, hiding your outdoor clothes away where they won't be seen. Your fingers brush against something soft in your hair, and you pull out a feather, long and silver gray, gleaming even in the dim light of the dormitory. Proof that it was real, that you didn't imagine any of it. You climb into bed, tucking the feather under your pillow where nobody will find it, and pull the curtains closed around you. Your body is exhausted, but your mind is racing, replaying every moment. The fear in the forest, the spiders and centaurs, the clearing bathed in moonlight, the hippogriff's amber eyes, the feeling of takeoff, that moment when the ground fell away and you were airborne, flying. You should feel guilty, should be terrified by how close you came to death, should be regretting every dangerous choice that led you into that forest. But lying here in your bed, safe and warm, all you can feel is gratitude and wonder. You saw wild hippogriffs in their natural gathering. You earned the trust of a magnificent creature who had no reason to trust you. You flew above Hogwarts Castle in moonlight, saw the world from a perspective most people will never know, and nobody can ever take that away from you. Your eyes begin to close, exhaustion finally catching up to you. Tomorrow, you'll wake up sore and scratched, and you'll have to come up with explanations for the marks on your face. Tomorrow, you'll return to classes and homework and the ordinary rhythm of school life. But tonight, in this moment between waking and sleep, you can still feel the wind in your face and the powerful muscles of the hippogriff beneath you. You can still feel the sky. Your breathing slows, deepens. The dormitory is quiet except for the soft sounds of your dormmates sleeping. Outside the window, the moon continues its journey across the sky, lighting the forbidden forest where 3 hippogriffs might still be gathered in their clearing, wild and free. You drift towards sleep with a smile on your face, one hand tucked under your pillow, fingers touching the silver feather. And in your dreams, you're flying again, soaring through moonlight with the wind singing in your ears and the whole world spread below you like magic.